This is Titletown Sound.
If Joe Flacco is worth a fourth-round pick, Antonio Brown might be worth a negative fifth-round pick.
Again, I'm just a fat dude sitting on the couch, but it's just I watch a lot of football.
I'm here to kick ass and make steaks, and I'm all out of steaks.
Year one, he was like, all right, guys, I don't know what Dom taught you, but you need to have 11 guys on the field.
A trained orangutan could have done a better job than Ron Jones. I mean, not even well-trained.
Welcome, Packers fans. It's episode 210 of the Titletown Sound podcast. The podcast for fans of the Green Bay Packers and fans of Mitchell Trubisky. Just kidding. Nobody's a fan of Mitchell Trubisky. And now, a man that can throw to his left, James Corsmo. James, how you doing?
I can throw to my left. I can also throw to my right. And I can also throw to my own team.
And now, my other co-host, a man who he can't turn left, but he can throw left, Kevin Christofko. Kevin, how you doing?
I'm not an ambi-turner.
So I think Andy Gilbert leads us off in the comments right now in the live chat by saying, feels great to be 2-0, soon to be 4-0, but hang on. Slow down, Andy, because before 4-0, one must be 3-0. So let's take it one step at a time, but it does feel good to be 2-0. We did not, I don't think any of us predicted preseason this team would be 2-0 at this point for decent reason. I mean, they played two tough teams.
Now, Chris, you did not predict 2-0, but at this point in the season, I think you had them at 6-1.
My ridiculous 13-3 prediction looking good right now. But before we get into that, talking about the games and what just happened, what's upcoming, let's go to our sound off for the week.
It's time to sound off.
I want to take you back in time. We're going to go back to June 6th, 2019. And on that date, Michael David Smith, a man who I didn't know until I found this tweet, but apparently he works for Pro Football Talk. So, well, yeah. Michael David Smith tweeted this on purpose. If we're considering age and contract, which we always should when evaluating players, Mitch Trubisky is already the top QB in the NFC North, and it's not even close. And I say that as someone who stands by my criticism of Ryan Pace for trading up for him. Michael David Smith. First, never trust a man who goes by three names. But Mike, you truly thought in June that Mitchell Trubisky was the best quarterback in the NFC North? Let's forget that this is a Packers podcast, and let's focus on the fact that this is a reality-based podcast. Mitch Trubisky is garbage. Okay, he had a good year last year with a great defense. But how could you possibly argue he's the best quarterback in the NFC North? If by contract and age you mean he's young and he's on a rookie contract, all right. But other than that, so you may ask yourselves, how bad is Mitchell Trubisky? How bad is he? Well, luckily, there are statistics. And this is from, just yesterday. Mitchell Trubisky, these are his ranks in the NFL. In touchdown passes, he's ranked 33rd with 0. I want to point out there are only 32 teams. He's 32nd in yards per attempt at 4.8. He's 32nd in net yards per pass attempt at 4.26. 32nd in yards per completion, 8.3. But he gets better. He's 31st in passer rating at a 65. 29th in QBR at 22.1. 29th in passing yards per game at $174, and 27th in completion percentage at 58.3. Mr. Michael David Smith, the fact that you work for Pro Football Talk should have been the first tip-off, but you might want to go back and rethink your player evaluations, because Mitchell Trubisky is garbage. Oh, and he can't throw to his left. So I want to highlight something there that might have gotten lost in my rant about Mitchell Trubisky and how truly awful he is. And that's that when it comes to number of touchdown passes, he ranks 33rd in the league. Gentlemen, There were 32 teams, and he's 33rd. I mean, the Jets have been through 9 quarterbacks at this point, so I guess it's fair. But anyway, Mr. Trubisky is garbage. And he got bailed out.
He's bad.
And he got bailed the F out by the refs on Sunday. They should be 0-2 right now. But before we go on more rants about the Bears and Mitchell Trubisky, let's talk about Packers-Vikings. Packers beat the Vikings at home to go 2-0. I don't think the win was a surprise, maybe the way it happened. So the first thing I want to talk about, James, this offense, this team got off to a really quick start. It was great to see, and I expected I did some math, that we were going to finish the game like 84-0. That was just after the first quarter. That was a prediction.
Checks out.
But so why such a fast start to begin with?
Well, LaFleur did a fantastic job with his first 15 or 20 scripted plays. Those just a thing of beauty. He used Minnesota's aggressiveness against them right off the bat, sending Davante Adams out on a beautiful pattern, a post pattern, and it wasn't a post pattern. It was more of a fade. But whatever it was, Davante Adams went out and he was wide open. Nice 39-yard gain to start the game. 15-yard rush by Aaron Jones. And then, boys, the screen game came back.
That was nice.
Yeah, it had been missing since 2011, and it came back this week. And Jamal Williams rumbled in for a touchdown. Beautiful drive. And then the next drive, the 3 touchdown drives were just called perfectly.
It was just perfect.
Yeah. Right. You had a quarterback who was making all of his throws. He was vintage Aaron Rodgers. Like it was, yes. He was throwing dimes. It was perfect. And the third touchdown was on a short field because of the fumble that Kenny Clark caused. But which, man, he is so good. Anyway, the first 15 or 20 plays were a thing of beauty, and then it felt like once they got up 21-0, LaFleur just kind of decided to go into cruise control, which didn't really bode so well.
So was it kind of Mike McCarthy syndrome? Remember, one of the biggest criticisms we had against the old coach was he couldn't, he wouldn't put his foot on the other team's throat. Is that what we saw?
No, I think what we saw was LaFleur's insistence on developing and maintaining a running game, which is okay. That's a good thing. Believe it or not, it is a good thing. We've been saying that for years and years. If you can get a decent running game, that's only going to make Aaron Rodgers a better quarterback. Well, it's great until it doesn't work. And that's what ended up happening was Minnesota started keying in on those runs. They started putting 8 guys in the box. And then by the time it was third down, it was 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8. And they could really kind of tee off. So once LaFleur is able to kind of balance out, and let's not forget, Minnesota's defense is not that much worse than Chicago's. They're still a top 5 defense. And yes, they had a few defense. Yeah, they had a couple guys missing. But they still had Xavier Rhodes. They still had Harrison Smith. If it wasn't for Harrison Smith, I'm convinced the Packers would have won 45-0. Yeah. He blew up 3 plays. But I think once LaFleur gets the run to pass ratio and kind of the ebb and the flow together a little bit more, I think it's going to be a dangerous offense. I really do.
Kevin, I saw some criticisms of the Packers because they didn't score after the first 3 drives. But how did you come away looking at this offense after this game? What was your feeling, kind of your overall feel?
Overall, great first quarter. They didn't start slow, right? I think adjustments. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more adjustments, I guess. I don't know what particular adjustments, but I would have liked to have seen more things work. What's that?
Just adjust something.
Just general adjustments. I like even jock strap adjustments. Exactly. I think we said about the team last year that the offense just needed to show up for 2 minutes some of the games, and they would have won them because the defense was so good. And this year, the offense has shown up for 8-9 minutes here or there, but it's been enough. And they've won both. They're 2-0 because of it. So while I would like to see a little bit more consistency out of the offense, and I would like to see them get something, if they score a touchdown in the second half and they score 28 points for the game, are we really talking about the fact that the Vikings had 16 unanswered? So, I would have liked to have seen something like that, but
and that opportunity was there. I mean, Geronimo Allison, that fumble was at Minnesota's 30-yard line. I mean, it was they had chances.
And then, so I guess my other question is there anything fundamentally flawed with this offense? Are there any problems that you see that worry you that can't be fixed long term? And I'll answer that first. I don't see that. As much as people were complaining about how they stalled after their first 3 drives, I don't see a fundamental problem with this offense. I see an offense that has the ability to play really well, that has a head coach who's still learning to be a head coach and has a good chance to grow. And am I being overly optimistic, James?
No, not at all. I actually really agree with you. The only thing that concerns me a little bit is I wish they would find somebody to play guard and stick with it. Left guard. I mean, they kind of did, I think it was like 75%, 25%, Lane Taylor and Elton Jenkins. I mean, Taylor is not great. He's really not. He has moments where he's okay, but he's just not consistently great. And I know they're wary about sending a rookie out there to protect Aaron Rodgers. I get that. But at some point, they're going to have to, as Grandpappy used to say, poop or get off the pot, and put somebody in there and leave them there, because a consistent offensive line is really a key to anything. And but other than that, I'm not worried at all.
James, did you really have a Grandpappy?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I didn't know you were raised in Appalachia. I didn't.
I mean, I'm guessing a grandparent. You just didn't call him Grandpappy.
Yeah, I had 4 grandparents. I didn't call any of them Grandpappy.
All right, let's talk about the defense. This defense again shone. This defense shone.
Showed up.
And okay, so now I'm thrown off by syntax. Anyway, they played very well. The defense really held it. And if you take out those explosive plays, and that's kind of like, again, like saying, beside that, Mrs. Lincoln, how'd you like to play? But if you take out those explosive plays, this defense was fantastic. And even with those explosive plays, the opposing team scores 16 points. Can we finally say, Kevin, after watching them against the Vikings, that this defense is for real? Or is the sample size too small?
No, I mean, I think building off of last year, yeah, it's definitely for real, right? Like, we knew last year that it was a good defense, and we wanted to see that maintain into this year, and so far we've seen it. So, yeah, let's roll out the jump to conclusions, Matt. Go for it.
James, do you first of all right, Mr. Hamblin, who writes, it's not syntax, it's conjugation.
You're a math teacher. You teach maths.
And I'm sitting in a closet podcasting, so let's not get too technical about all this, okay? Thanks. Where was I? James, do you agree that this defense, that we can finally say this is for real?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was kind of holding off until we played a real offense, but to be honest,
with a quarterback.
With a quarterback,
which
we're not going to get until next Thursday when they play the Eagles, really. But
there's a 70% chance that McCown brother will be playing quarterback for the Eagles. But seriously, he's the bad man. So
yeah, Shemp McCown. Yeah. No, I the talent is there. I don't think we can really be doubting them anymore. Zadarius Smith, Preston Smith, Kenny Clark, the whole front seven. Rashawn Gary had a great game for when he played. Then you look at Jair Alexander, who he dropped two interceptions. I get that,
but
I get it.
But he's so damn good.
He's a lockdown corner, and he can go one-on-one man with almost anybody in the league, and I'd feel comfortable with it. And then Amos and Savage, if Savage can play this week. I mean, the sky is the limit for this defense. It's amazing.
It is. It's exciting to watch. That's the fun. Like this team. Okay, this is something that I haven't felt in a few years about the Packers, and I think I said it last week. But this is a fun team to watch. They're exciting, and they look like they have fun playing the game. Kev?
It's a make your pants tight type of defense. You know what I mean?
I know exactly.
Because you eat so many nachos that your pants get tight.
Joke's on you. My pants are already tight.
Yeah. No, it's fun so far. I like it.
And so there was what play was it? When was it when they gathered in the end zone for the group photo?
That was after Kevin King's interception?
Yeah,
or was it after? Yeah.
I mean,
I can't remember. It was I think it was Preston Smith's interception.
I think it was because they ran a long distance to get there.
Right. So after that happened, I thought that was amazing. Like I love to see. Here's the thing: Packers defenses haven't had an identity since 2010, and they haven't really been. They have been an accessory on this team, right? It's got to be tough being like. Because we say it all the time. It's got to be tough when you've got a unit on your team that's like, well, we're here just not to F it up so Aaron Rodgers can win the game. But now they're developing that personality. They're playing like a team, and they look like they're not afraid to upstage the offense. I know that might sound silly, but they're not afraid to not that they'd ever be afraid to win the game, but Packers defense has been something that you want not to screw up. And
I would say that Dom Capers was afraid to win several ball games. You ever see his prevent defense? Rush one with 8 guys on the field.
The one man rush. But James, do you agree with me, or does it feel a little different the way this defense acts?
This defense acts like the Aaron Rodgers stole their lunch money and said, you don't get it back unless you go out there and you shut them down. Like right. They go out there with an attitude and a chip on their shoulder. They have that it. Like I've mentioned how much I hate this word because I really do. They got that swag.
Oh, I thought moist maybe.
They got that swag, man.
Moist. Why would they be moist?
I love the word moist. I'll use it all day long. Moist swag. They have moist swag.
So there are people turning off their podcasts right now because they hate that word so much. That reminds me of our friend Colleen. Rest in peace. But I tell you, up there in heaven, moist. She's pissed off at us right now, in case you're wondering.
That's half the reason I do it. Well, I mean, they are so the difference in this defense from previous years. It's night and day. It's incredible.
And then. What I saw on social media, because I posted on our Facebook page a picture of them in that group photo, and what I saw was people complaining because I guess they hate fun. I don't know why you would complain about a defense I don't know. I don't get it.
It baffles me that people take it so seriously. I don't know. It's fun to root for your team. Ooh, geez, it's fun to root for your team and all that stuff. But I just did it too. I don't know. But when you can't take any joy in it, then what's the point?
So that's a good point. We got a little bit of time to talk about this. If you were someone, I understand the game can be tense, right? And you want the Packers to win. But if you're someone who, after that game, had a negative take right away, why do you do this? Why do you watch the games? I don't get it. I just saw some negative people that I was like, why? This is fun. If you're not enjoying this, I just don't understand why you're even bothering.
Right. People complained all year last year, rightfully so, because the Packers were so terrible.
Yep.
Now they're out there winning games they have no business winning. They had no business beating Chicago. The way that their offense played, they had zero business beating Chicago. They had beating Minnesota the way that they're out there beating these teams that the so-called experts have picked to win the division.
Yeah.
Their offense looks like a newborn giraffe just kind of finding its legs. And people are still like, well, Rodgers holds on to the ball too long. Brr. Shut up.
And by the way, stand up on third down, you 90-year-old relic.
Yes.
Sorry.
Just shut up. I hate that so much. And I will go to my grave. It's a game, and if you can't get enjoyment out of it, watch competitive pinochle or something. Just stop watching. Stop watching sports. I don't know if that's a thing or not.
Robert Sky, I'm not sure how you pronounce his last name, says some people just need to go through life complaining about everything. I think he's onto something there. It's totally. There are people that just no matter what are going to complain. All right, that was this gentleman. Let's real quick. This is a huge win, and combined with the win over the Bears, it is a big deal that this Packers team is 2-0. They shouldn't be. They should be 1-1, right? Probably. You hope you win the home game and maybe you lose that road game. But when you consider that at 2-0, they've now become what? I think Vegas has them as the favorite to win the division now. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. Yep. They're at I think 150.
Yeah. So they're plus 150. So you bet $100, you win 150. It doesn't matter. That part doesn't matter. But what does matter is the where these two wins have gotten them in the division. Think about how many times in the past 3, 4, 5 years that you've thought, damn, if they could have just won that game they should have won, if the defense could have just held on, they had a chance to win the division or whatever. And remember, this defense was on the field for a long time. And it didn't get gassed. It could have.
A little gas, but not like previous years where Dom Capers would have, like Kevin said, had 7 guys in the field and 1 was rushing.
Are you guys tired? Just only 6 of you go out there.
Does my video go completely black for you?
No, I got a visual. You still look hot.
To me, it looks
you
like
went back.
So we'll pretend that I'm there. One thing that I thought was awesome about this game was the Packers bringing Cherry Starr to the game. We know Bart Starr passed away. Just an icon of this team and this league. I thought it was really heartwarming that the team reached out to her to make sure that she was, still in the fold, and Brett Favre was there, and he's back in the fold. We've known that for a little while, but I just think it's nice to see that they're making sure to keep her around. Because she mentioned after the game last year that it was going to be Bart's last game in Green Bay, and good to see that she.
Yeah, that's harsh, James Hamblin. Harsh but fair.
You can see Chris. Unfortunately, it's fair.
Do you guys think that Brett was like, "Hey guys, do you think I get Jerry's number?" And they were like, "No, absolutely not."
No texting, Brett. No
texting. She's got the jitterbug. She doesn't get texts.
Jerry, you want to see my new Crocs?
All right. We are treading a fine line.
They call it the Wrangler.
Okay. This was supposed to be a beautiful moment on the show. You ruined it.
You're welcome.
Brett Favre ruined it. We just hear.
Goodness.
Anyway, it was a beautiful moment, gentlemen. Thank you for coming to this segment. That was fantastic.
That video that they posted where Rodgers and Cherry Starr and Favre were all in the locker room area. That I'm not gonna lie, man, that got me. Got me.
All right, so we have some people to thank. I think that's where we are in the outline. Hold on, let me check. We do. We have some people to thank. But not only that, we have a new person to thank. Someone that I thought initially was trolling us, but apparently we're not. Our new patron, our new OG patron.
And hold on a second. Before you announce the name of this OG patron, I cannot begin to tell you how difficult this is going to make my job for True or False in keeping track of the scores.
This amazing person is named Chris Korsmo. Again, I thought someone was trolling us. It turns out it's a real person, and thankfully they are a patron. And I like that it makes your life more difficult. So thank you, Chris. We appreciate you being our patron. And in the coming weeks, Kevin will make fun of you, which is pretty sweet.
which is a nice change of pace from me making fun of you. Because that's my big sister, folks.
So, Kev, we have some OG patrons that we have to thank, correct?
We do.
Do you remember who they are? Because they're not written on the outline.
I hope I do. So we have Scott Neer, correct?
Correct.
Jason Hicks. That's correct. James Ham Blinn with a heavy B. Milo Mead Song. And, of course, the newest one, Chris Korsmo, as you mentioned.
Well played.
Now, what you guys don't know here is you couldn't see this if you weren't there live at the game. You didn't see the 5 of our OG patrons carrying Cherry Star into the game on their shoulders, Roman Emperor style or whatever that was, to the Star Wars Imperial March theme song going into the stadium. It was really quite a sight. I was not personally there to behold it, but I was told by a friend of a friend of a friend that it happened, and it was spectacular.
All right, thanks to all of our patrons. If you want to become a patron, you can do so by going to www.patreon.com/TTSO. You'll get access to our monthly bonus shows where we say bad words and talk about the Packers for at least 17% of each show.
That's a guarantee.
There's some great benefits. Become a patron. Help us support the show. When we come back, we got a lot to talk about. We've got to talk about, well, we've got an upcoming game against the Broncos. We've got voicemails, Papa K, and, of course, our beloved games. We will play them when we get back from our break. And hopefully this week, I have chosen the correct commercial to put in the soundboard. We'll be back in about 2 minutes. Use this time to use the restroom if you need to, get a new drink, whatever you do. Did you know that you can help support our show financially without any additional cost to you? Well, if you use Amazon, and let's face it, who doesn't? You can go through our Amazon affiliate link, and we'll get a small portion of the proceeds. You pay nothing extra, and you still get your awesome stuff delivered in like 2 days. So go to www.titletownsoundoff.com/Amazon. And just order like you normally would, and you help the show. That's www.titletownsoundoff.com/Amazon. Happy shopping.
If you would like to support the show and help others find it, give us a review and a rating. Go to Apple Podcasts and write something nice and give us 5 stars. Thanks.
Welcome back, Packers Fast, episode 210 of the Titletown Sound Podcast. We're going to talk about Packers Broncos in a second. Before we do that, we have other patrons that we may need to thank. James, tell us about those other Hall of Fame patrons that deserve to be mentioned every damn show.
Not even every show, every day. Like you guys don't understand how much we talk about you guys, like all the time.
You're getting creepy.
It is. Well, it is creepy.
Sometimes love can disguise itself as creepiness, guys. We have Jeff,
specifically written on my restraining order.
We have Jeff St. Augustine. We have Paul Goldsack, which is not a James Bond movie. I found that out the hard way. Kyle Turpening. Nick, who's still not John Glenn. Kyle, I'm working on a nickname for you. I'll come back to you eventually with a nickname. You're going to love it. Nick, who's not John Glenn. DJ, he's got himself a Lightfoot. And Will Zine Sauvage, which is not French accent because I can't really do it very well. All of those guys have a better QBR than Mitch Trubisky.
That's true. Yeah, Mitch Trubisky now 48th in QBR behind all of our patrons and the other backs in the league. Thanks to our patrons. Thanks to everybody that's given us a rating or review on iTunes. Let's talk about the Broncos game. Now, I admittedly know one thing about the Denver Broncos, and that is that their quarterback is Joe Flacco. I watched that Packers-Bears game. I mean, that Broncos-Bears game, and still don't come away knowing that much. So, James, anything that we should know about this team that you know?
Well, they have Von Miller, who is, and then they have Bradley Chubb, which I think is a fantastic name. I wish my last name was Chubb. The levity I would have. And I don't want to jinx anything, but neither of those guys have a sack so far this year, which is surprising because it's Von Miller,
right.
Von Miller. So but that doesn't mean their defense isn't legit. They still have a good defense. They have Emmanuel Sanders, who I believe is somewhere not quite ARP age, but not like.
That's why they give a discount at Golden Corral.
I mean he's definitely, if he gets to Golden Corral before 4:30, he's eating for $3.99. By the way, Golden Corral, if you want to sponsor us, please. And then,
you know what? Hold on. I don't usually say this to potential sponsors, but you know what? You might not make money off of that deal because you don't want people like us.
Good point.
Coming in.
Good. Even if it is all contaminated by fecal bacteria, you're right.
But it's delicious.
Triple fountain yum.
So the idea of using a chocolate fountain in a Golden Corral, I'd rather lick a Subway seat. And I don't mean the restaurant. I mean
again?
Transportation.
I literally just gave you every little bit of information I know about Denver. Joe Flacco is still a thing there. I don't know. I know that the Bears beat them by magic and hood tomfoolery, so they have that going for them.
Oh, there was definitely tomfoolery in that game.
He had 62 rushing yards.
Tomfoolery, averaged 3.4 yards per carry. What does the offense have to do this week? Outside of those scripted plays, what does the offense have to do to be able to, to play a full game and to show that this team that they can win a game? And this sounds ridiculous to say about a Packers offense, but what do they have to do?
They need to get. First of all, there's a pattern here, and I can't believe nobody's noticed this yet. Game 1 against the Bears, the Packers had one good drive.
Okay.
Scoring drive.
Right.
Game 2 against Minnesota, the Packers had one great quarter.
Oh.
So
they'll have
3
one great half.
That, yes. And I don't know if they're going to choose the first or the second.
Right.
But no, I honestly, they just need – LaFleur needs to get the play calling down, ride Rodgers. This sounds terrible and out of context. When Rodgers is playing out of his mind like he was in the first quarter against Minnesota, ride him like Seabiscuit.
This is something that we didn't talk about, but something that that's bad.
Oh.
Rep protection on my computer. Oh no, that we it's trying to do Windows updates. Hold on, this is scary. All right, I'm back. I think I saved it. Let's restart my computer. But one thing we didn't talk about is the amount that. What the hell was I going to talk about? I got totally thrown off.
I don't know. We haven't talked about it.
Windows updates.
Damn it. I was going to talk about how they gave Aaron Jones more carries than he's ever had in his career. But you think, James, that he has to be able to, that LaFleur to be able to coach this team properly, not only has to make sure he has balance, but to kind of read the rhythm of the game, which might not be, you might not be keeping 55-45 pass run, but you want to make sure that you're looking out for which way the game is going at a given time.
Right. I don't really want Aaron Jones having 27 touches a game, which is what he had against Minnesota.
It's insane.
Right. And that's not to say that I think I still think he's a top 5 back in the league. I do. I really do.
Oh,
I don't want him dying before week 7.
I don't die at all.
Well, I guess I don't either, but if he does, can we wait till after the playoffs? No, I mean I'm not sure the answer is play more Jamal Williams either. So if we can get Aaron Jones 20 touches a game, Jamal Williams 10 to 15, and then let Aaron Rodgers do the rest, I think they're going to be okay.
So for this game against the Broncos, you'd like to see Aaron Jones dial back the carries a little bit. It was a bit too much of a workload for him.
I mean, for fantasy reasons, I would love for Aaron Jones to go off for 300 yards and 9 touchdowns, but
right.
And I'm not talking about football, fantasy football. I'm talking about anyways.
We get it.
Touchdown your pants.
Kevin, you've having grown up in the Baltimore market, you've seen a lot of Joe Flacco. So I do have a couple questions about the game and what this defense can do. So my first question, I guess, about Joe Flacco is he elite?
As elite as a Golden Corral chocolate fountain.
I don't know how to take
I think I deflated James.
Good. It's about time somebody did.
But I do think a key is, if you can get the Smith brothers off the edge, really putting pressure on Joe Flacco, he will throw up a wounded, paralyzed duck from time. Like, not just wounded, but like a frozen turkey fired out of a cannon. That's what he will throw up if you can get some pressure on him. And James, this defense is capable of, even if they don't get a million sacks, is capable of getting that disruption and pressure. And that's something we've been missing in the years past. Remember last year at one point when the Packers were leading the league in sacks and Tyler Fackrell was a goddamn revelation? Well, that's not what they need to do. It's not about sacks. It's about pressure and disruption. And that's what they can do to Joe Flacco.
Right, and the coaching staff has even said as much. Pettin's come out several times and said, I don't care about sacks. I care about disrupting the quarterback. And that's what they do. That's the beauty of a Mike Pettin defense. He brings pressure from all over the field. If it doesn't have to be Zadarius Smith, it doesn't have to be Preston Smith. It can be Adrian Amos. It could be Darnell Savage. It can be, anybody, Blake Martinez. That's the beauty about his defense is that you never know where the pressure is coming from, and he disguises things so well. And then on top of it, you have Kenny Clark, who doesn't need to disguise anything because he'll just kick your ass up and down the field for 60 minutes.
And then he'll make you buy lunch.
And then
beast.
Yeah, he's that dude. Oh man, he's great.
And we'll talk about it in Spread'em, which is our game coming up later in the show. But the Packers, the line against the Broncos opened at 8.5. Packers were favored by 8.5. It went down to 8, but that is a big line for a team that has only put together about 4 good drives this week. But Vegas is confident, and I don't know, I forget which site it was, released their power rankings today. And for the first time, and I can't remember when, the Packers were 5th in the power rankings. I don't think that's an exaggeration. I think this team is good enough. And I said it before, Kevin, I think one of the most exciting parts is they don't seem to have that fundamental flaw that almost every Packers team has had in the last several years.
Yeah, I mean, I think with the exception, maybe we touched on it earlier, the offensive line depth, if something were to happen there.
The offensive line is infinitely.
Oh, totally. Yeah. It's yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a much more less porous cheesecloth type team. Because the Packers, you make cheese with cheesecloth, apparently. Right. I've made several thousands pounds of cheese. So we call them kilos of cheese. So I would know that, of course.
Your middle name is Sargento.
That actually is true. I forget where I was going, but it wasn't anywhere important, so don't worry. Just move on.
All right, let us move on. I think one way we can move on is to listen to our voicemails that we get from everybody who calls. If you're interested in leaving a voicemail, I'll get that number to you by the end of the voicemails because I don't have it in front of me. But first, we go to a voicemail from Don number 2.
Hey, what's up, guys? Don number 2, calling in with week 2 diaper dandy. For the diaper, we're gonna go with Matt LaFleur. Surprisingly, great coach, won the game. Everything's great. But man, after they got out of that opening script and put up 21 points, we just didn't seem to really get anything going. So, we definitely got to do better. I want to be able to get out there, score, and keep it going. If we were able to do what we did in that first 20 minutes of the game, we should have kind of stuck to it a little bit. I understand the Vikings maybe had come around on defense and figured some things out. And fortunately enough, our defense was able to hold the lead for us, which, again, is amazing that we have a defense that can do that now. And then going with the dandy for week 2, definitely Aaron Jones. He had a total of 27 touches for 150 yards. That's an average of 5.5 yards. So, every time he touched the ball, boom, 5.5 yards. So, I was so excited to see Matt LaFleur actually release him and feed him and just, let Aaron Jones do what he does, and it worked out. So, on to week 3, beat Denver. Let's go, guys. Go, Pack, go.
I was skeptical when he gave LaFleur his diaper, I believe, which means I'm guessing that's a negative, right? Is
it soiled? Has it been soiled? Because I don't know if that was.
But anyway,
in some cultures, that's a marriage proposal.
And his name is Don number 2, so I'd imagine it's soiled. Good
point. Okay, so but his reasoning was decent, and it was something that we agreed with as well. That LaFleur needed to do a little bit more after those scripted plays. But overall, if you're trying to criticize anybody on this team this week, it's relatively tough to find that spot, right? I think coaching is that's a place we can improve, and a lot of that is because you've got a young coach. He's 2 things into his damn career as a head coach, and I expect that those issues that we have right now will improve.
Well, you can criticize, but you're not going to get any traction from me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to bite.
Okay.
I'm not saying you specifically. I'm just saying.
I thought you were mad at me or something.
Oh yeah, let's do this right now. Come on, let's play.
Kevin's taking your shirt off. All right. So by the way, if you want to call in, that number is 920-445-TTSO. It's on your screen now if you're watching. 920-445-TTSO. So please give us a call. Put it in your phone. When you're drunk, call us. We don't care what you talk about. We'll probably play it.
Hey y'all, it's Gabe here. Oh man, calling after this crazy win over the Vikings, man. But like I said, a win's a win. But something I have to say to sum it up: offense clicked up for the first 3 drives, but I don't know what happened. They went missing after that, so they got to get something clicking. But overall, I think our defense definitely bailed us out on this one. It's a good thing we now have a defense. So, but anyway, yeah, I'm just, I need to breathe. Anyway, just thought I'd call in and give you my thoughts, guys. Y'all have a good one. Good night. God bless. And go, Pack, go.
His left foot. Thank you both.
That was so clever. I don't even know if that was intentional, but that was great.
They were clicking. His blinking.
Yeah.
Pretty fantastic. There's nothing really to add. But if you've been listening to the show long enough to understand why Gabe's left blinker is hilarious, I hope you
bless you.
That's a oldie but a goodie.
I still can't see myself on screen, so I'm going to try to do something. This could be a disaster. This could end the show. Hold on.
Oh, hey. What's up, James? How you doing? So the football game is this weekend, and that's going to be fun to watch.
All right. I'm back.
Thank God.
You're doing a great job vamping.
Nobody noticed. You're good. All right. Again, call our voicemail if you have anything to say. It doesn't have to be about the Packers. We've also got Papa K, who's making his return for the season again. He's 2 for 2 now in the regular season. I had to remind him about an hour before the show this week, but he's got some takes on this game.
He's on the grocery list.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Bill Christofko calling after the Packers' very important 21-16 win over the Minnesota Zimmers on Sunday. A couple of thoughts. I know there are people starting to make a big deal over the supposed yelling match that occurred between Rodgers and LaFleur during the game. From now on, my stance with this kind of stuff is going to be that unless the Wisconsin National Guard is called out to pull the two apart, I'm going to put no stock whatsoever into these kind of altercations, if you will. These kind of things happen in competitive events, especially with competitive players and coaches as Rodgers and LaFleur are. Well, I even remember in my storied career as a football quarterback, I quarterbacked a touch football team when I was in the 7th grade. I remember throwing a beautiful pass to my friend who was on our team, Tommy Tipton, and he dropped it in the end zone. I yelled at him for dropping it. It happens in the heat of battle. So I'm ready to forgive and forget anything that happens between Rodgers and LaFleur because I don't think it's a big deal at all, at least at this point. A couple of other thoughts. Aaron Jones is one tough player and one important player for the Green Bay Packers. He's going to have to stay healthy. And that also means that Jamal Williams is a very important part of this team. You read different things and they say Williams is a plotter and this and that, and he can't do this and that. But the man makes plays. His touchdown was an important one, and the guy's a good, decent football player for this team. So Jamal Williams is also going to be a key player to help keep Aaron Jones fresh this year. Another thing that I found interesting from the game on Sunday was Chris Myers, who was broadcasting the game, seemed offended whenever the Vikings had a penalty called against them. The call on Dalvin Cook, when it appeared that he was blocking in the end zone on the reversed touchdown to the first one to Stephon Diggs, certainly looked like the appropriate call. The rule states that it has to be an egregious offense for the play to be overturned. Well, it must have been for that league to overturn that call. I guess it depends on whose ox is being gored, as us old people would say. Now, I don't particularly care for Chris Myers, and I have to admit, I'm actually a Joe Buck and Troy Aikman fan. I think Joe Buck is a Hall of Famer compared to Chris Myers. Finally, again, love this defense. Love the rush and Kenny Clark, Blake Martinez making plays all over the field. And that defensive secondary is really fun to watch. The speed, the hustle of these guys. This is going to be a fun team to watch. I'm looking forward to the Denver game, Joe Flacco coming to town. I hope fans don't think this is going to be a walkover. These games just seem to be tight no matter what. But it's great to be 2-0, especially against division opponents, and it's fun to watch this team. Thanks for listening. Good night.
I had something to comment about what Pop said, and then I forgot.
I have something.
Go for
now,
it.
Here's the deal. He says that he doesn't think that it's a big deal because of his past experience. I'll pose this question. When was the last time Bill spoke to Tommy Tipton?
Well, and then my other question is, if you're a receiver and your last name is Tipton, like that's
good
that's
point.
Like, maybe you should be a quarterback. Because like if you're a receiver, your name's Tipton,
or a porn star.
Just
all right, guys, I'll see you later.
He agrees with us with Aaron Jones. You gotta be able to give him a break, and that's why Jamal Williams is so important. One thing I want to talk about, because this gets brought up all the time with Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams, I want people to realize Aaron Jones can block, and he's a hell of a blocker. This narrative, James, started like last year that Jamal Williams was the blocker and Aaron Jones can't block. Aaron Jones is not Jimmy Graham, right? Jimmy Graham is allergic to it. Aaron Jones is not only able to, but very good at protecting Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, Aaron Jones. I forget who it was coming up in the middle on a blitz. If it was Anthony Barr, or I can't remember who it was. But he laid him flat. Oh, you know what? It was Harrison Smith. It was Harrison Smith, and he laid him flat. It was beautiful. He can block, and he's not scared of it. He'll go get guys.
Yeah.
Unlike Jimmy Graham, who let Danielle Hunter just mosey on by him like 7 times.
That's what he does. I mean, but like you can't again. And I said it last year. If you put Jimmy Graham in there in a position to block, that's coaching malpractice. You know what you're getting with the man. So stop. Papa K again with a good take. He says, "Don't take this game for granted," and you never can. You really can't. But I'm starting to.
No.
Don't worry, it won't get too bad. All right, it's time to play our games. Now, if you are a Hall of Fame OG patron, you get to play our games as well. So we have some of our patrons that play along. And the first game that we play, pretty easy. It's pretty, well, I mean, not easy. It's just self-explanatory. And that's true or false.
True or false, true or false, true or false, true or false. It's time to play true or false.
All right, Kev, take it away with true or false.
All right, true or false. So I've done a little bit of preliminary calculations. I'm not 100% caught up because I've got some answers here, some answers there, and I'm still working to compile them. However, I will have an update next week after a few weeks here. Let's see.
You know what? Just leave it for the end of the season at this point. Why even?
No, guys, come on. No, you'll get your update. Don't worry. Just you got to be patient. Come on. This is I don't know. I'm a mess. I'm trying to find my notes here. It's kind of.
We'll do it live.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's go to the questions. How about that? We'll do week 3 questions, and then maybe I can find the updates. I don't know. There were a few people who had really good weeks last week. James, you got all your questions right.
Wow.
Kyle got all the questions right. Jason Hicks got all the questions right. James Hamblin got all the questions right. It was a bonanza of points. I got 3 right. I'm an idiot. I'm doing real bad. I've got less points than my new puppy, who I awarded 6 bonus points to for fun. All right, question number 1. James, we'll start with you.
Okay.
What? Right. What's that? Did James tell me to wait?
No, I said okay.
Oh, I thought you said wait. My fault. God, Jesus, Louises. All right, number 1. The Packers defense came up big with an interception. No, this is the wrong week's question. Here we go. All right. This is better. We're doing fine, guys. Don't worry. Through 2 weeks, the Packers defense is averaging 2 takeaways per game. True or false? Against the Broncos, the Packers will force at least 2 turnovers. James.
True.
Chris, what do you think?
I got true as well.
See, I'm
on board. Let's go.
Okay, that's good. I'm going to say false only because 2 turnovers is a lot, and because I'm very bad at this game. So it's a win-win.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I don't know. All right. Question number 2. I also have to make sure that I keep score, too. Through 2 weeks, the Broncos have passed for 531 yards while allowing just 379 passing yards. True or false? In week 3, Aaron Rodgers will pass for more yards than Joe Flacco. Chris, what do you think?
I will kick any of you off the podcast who say false. It's true. It's Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you got that's a point. You got that. What do you think there, James?
I don't know. I feel like Old Bay right now. I want some Old Bay in my life.
Ooh,
true. It's absolutely true.
No, it's going to be a true sweep. We're sweeping the trues there. Okay, question number 3. The Packers defense is allowing 5.8 yards per rush through 2 games this season. The Broncos are averaging less than 4 yards per carry. True or false? In week 3, the Packers will hold the Broncos to 4.5 yards or less per carry. Chris, what do you think?
I'm going to say true, and part of that is because 75 yards of that rushing last week was on one play, right? If you take that out, it's different. Hashtag
that is true. Hashtag analysis.
And I said true as well, yeah.
James. All right, James.
I'm just to James. I'll just take over.
Is it my turn yet? What's going on?
Yeah.
I'll say true.
All right. And I'm going to say false because I'm bad at this game. Question number 4. The Packers have I have written six sacks, but I think it's just supposed to be 6 sacks.
Wow.
So far in 2019. Joe Flacco is essentially a totem pole with an arm. True or false? The Packers will record at least 3 sacks on Sunday. Chris, what do you think?
True. That's the best question you've ever written.
James, how about you? What do you think?
True.
All right, true. Good. Okay. Question number 5. J.K. Scott is a beast. True or false? In week 3, the gorgeous stork will have a net punt of 46 yards or more. James, what do you think? If you don't know this, he's had a streak. A question, I think week 1 I asked if he would have a net of 44 or more, and he did. Week 2 I asked if he'd have a 45-yard net punt.
Oh,
and
beauty.
I think I'm assuming he did because they were things of beauty. So I'm going to give it to him whether or not they were.
You could check. That's easily checkable, you know.
You know what? You would think
I can tell you the
2 clicks of the mouse, and that's too many.
His game-winning punt was 59 yards net. So yes, you're right. I'm going to say true. Absolutely.
Chris, what about you?
I cannot pick against the stork. It's true.
All right. Yeah, of course, it's true. It's what it's going to be. All right. So those are 5 questions. We all got our answers. Patrons, I'll send you the email tonight. You'll get your questions tonight. Send them back before Sunday. We're good to go. Remember,
True or false is now over.
That's like me giving you the hook. That's like on the Emmys when they play you off stage. Thank
you. I appreciate that. I need that more often.
We got another game to play, and that is our most cleverly named game.
Go on ahead and spread them.
I don't know why you shoot the man after he spreads it. Like that, complied with your order, but
ring the bell.
But spread is the game where you pick the spread, and that's what you do. You pick the Packers game against the spread. So Kevin, what is the spread?
When you first described the game, you said you picked the spread, which would be that'd be so. Yeah.
All right, I'll take some hoagies.
What is 8.5? Is that what we said?
It's 8. It's 8 at this point.
8. Okay, so we'll go with 8. So the spread is 8. Packers are favored by 8 points. Those are American football points. James, what do you think?
Hold on, real quick. We haven't really explained this well, and we should. If you're new, if you don't gamble, first of all, try it. It's wonderful.
It's so much fun.
Especially if you're easily addicted to things. You should totally do it.
Like Norm Macdonald once said, gambling might be a disease, but it's the only disease where you can win a ton of money. So, so if the Packers are -8, which means they're favored by 8. So what does that mean? At the end of the game, take 8 away from their score. If they still win, then you win your bet if you pick the Packers. I'm making a really simple concept, much more difficult than it has to be. The Packers need to win by 9 or more for you to win your bet. If they win by 8, it's a push. So I'm sorry, James.
New math. That's a lot of points. Like I'm taking Denver.
So I'm going to do the same. I'm going to take Denver, and that doesn't mean I believe Denver will win this game. I don't.
Right.
I just believe that 8 is a huge margin in the NFL, especially against Denver with that. And they have a decent defense. You know that it's going to be tough for this offense to get rolling. So I believe the Packers will win outright, but Denver will win against the spread.
I think that the Packers are going to win this game by 8.5 points exactly. And so I'm picking the Packers to cover the spread.
They're going to award J.K. Scott a half a point.
Exactly. You read my mind.
Spread them is now over. Let's try to wrap up the show for tonight. Thank you all who joined us live. I think we have one of our biggest viewing audiences tonight live on Facebook. So if you're not already in part of our Facebook group, search TTSO Packers Talk. That is our Facebook group. Join the group. We try to post our show when it goes live every Tuesday night at 8:30 or 9 o'clock Central Time. Somewhere in that range. We'll try to post it, at least 12 hours in advance so you know when to expect us. We'd like to see you join us live. If not, we're also available, obviously, in audio podcast form and on our YouTube page. But that can take up to a day for the video to get edited. Kevin, before we get out of here, have anything to add?
Yeah, you can also request us on Cameo for $4. We will sing you happy birthday a cappella. Additionally, Chris will eat a turkey leg while doing so. And that's free.
Well, you got to pay for the turkey leg.
Yeah, of course. I thought that goes without saying.
Curveball, though, the turkey's still alive.
Gross. That took a real dark turn. I was just going to say, if you don't currently watch the video, there's some antics. It's pretty funny. I mean, I have a low sense of, what funny is, but I find it humorous. So you should watch the video.
And follow us on Facebook. That way you'll be able to see when it comes up. James, what do you got before we get out of here?
If you have made it roughly 64 minutes into this podcast, thank you.
Just counting.
61? Okay. Thank you very much for everything. We appreciate you. Tweet us the word legume.
Ooh.
Because I love a good legume.
Who doesn't? I mean, unless you have like a peanut allergy, then you probably do.
I was really impressed with the amount of swing line tweets we got last week.
Yeah, it was a good number. So yeah, tweet is it legume? Is that how you pronounce it?
Legume, Legume, legume.
I thought it was legume.
I
might be putting the emphasis on the wrong syllable. I don't know.
That's what you step on in France when you're at a sidewalk cafe and get stuck on your shoe. Legume.
All right, we're getting out of here. So much. Beautiful. Thank you for joining us on episode 210 of the Titletown Sound podcast. We'll see you next Tuesday again. Become a patron. We appreciate it. Leave us a review. If not, you're a jerk. Catch you next week. Go Pack Go.
The preceding podcast was a production of Productions Institute, LLC. Copyright 2019. All rights reserved. Don't steal our crap.